Hey everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Guys of Arcadia Revisited. I'm Nye, and we have a couple more things that we want to do on the island, just kind of fun things. First thing we want to do is we want to run into the tavern. If we talk to Merida here, she lets us know that Kirala gave her a dress. It's the traditional dress for Yafatoman women when they have celebrations, but unfortunately it's a little bit too stiff for her to use while dancing. It could be altered a little bit to make it work, but it'd take about 500 gold. Do we have the money? Well, yes, we do. We do have the money. We have 500 gold. Here, have that. Have fun. Excellent. We're just handing money to everybody. It's amazing. We're just rich. The other thing we want to do, for now at least, is we want to go back up to the meeting room. This is something I actually completely forgot about, and just after finishing the last recording, I went up here, took a look, trying to see if there was anything that I was missing before we went off to the next dungeon, found this, and wanted to show it on camera. So I had to go back to our previous save, which was just before the Flutterflies last episode, and had to redo everything. It was not fun. Okay. So let's go in here. We want to talk to Domingo, who's going to be at the table over here. So if you talk to Domingo before the point where we're at, so basically as soon as you get him at around 30 discoveries or so, he will promise you that if you can get more than, I forget the number, it's like more than 50 discoveries, he'll give you a reward. So if you ever talk to him, he'll check out your discovery log and see exactly how many you have. So we've made 87 out of 88 discoveries. That's amazing. We're almost done. And so Domingo will congratulate you once you reach whatever his goal is, saying that not many people can boast discovering so many things in a single lifetime, and that we're the greatest air pirate that ever lived, at least in his opinion, and he's going to give us a gift, which is a Piranha Seed, Isol Seed, Zal Seed, and Sylph Seed, basically the big four stat seeds. And then he also let us know, he gives us a white map if you don't already have one, and he also lets us know that if we can completely fill up our discovery log by finding exactly one more discovery, then he will give us his most prized possession. Completely forgot about that. So we got a bunch of stat seeds if I ever care to use them. Excuse me. Okay. So we've done basically all we need to do on the island. If we leave the island and do an immediate return, after doing so, we will have a couple things that have changed. Khalifa's tent will be redone. I went ahead and changed the island pet over there. So we're not going to have a crocodile anymore. We're going to see what Pinta can give us next. And I'm also going to talk to... Let's see, where is he? We're also going to talk to Ismail. I'm going to have him decorate the island, and I'm going to have him put Fina's face over the pond. It is yet another time when the game gives a hint that there could be the sort of romantic subplot that never actually comes to fruition. Because, I think Fina would be rather honored and impressed that I put her face over the pond. But nope, she doesn't really care. Okay, so we're pretty much done here. We got nothing more to do, so we're going to go ahead and run right on back to the ship. And when we return from our latest conquest of the next place we have to go into, the island will be updated once again. And out we go. Right on down the fireman's pole. I really love these things in the game because they're somewhat fast to go down if you want to go down them instead of climbing down the stairs. But it takes so long to climb back up these things, and the game designers love them for obvious reasons. Okay. So let's get out of here, and let's go to our next dungeon. Loading screens. Except not. I'm kind of confused why they didn't have a loading screen in this one. Okay, so let's descend below the cloud ceiling, so that way I don't have to engage any enemies in anything, because I just don't like doing it. I'm especially irritated with having to edit them out every time, so I'm trying to avoid them as much as humanly possible. And we can head right over here. We'll go directly towards the dancing lights because they tell us exactly where our next dungeon is. And I'm going to make sure that Vice has the white map on. Notice that we're a little bit damaged, so I should make sure to fix that. White map, please. Excellent. Let's go ahead and have this person right here do some sacrulence. And in we go. So that's this place right here. This is our latest dungeon. And it is the Maw of Tartas. You might recall that we have been to the Maw of Tartas at least once before. There was a gigantic seal that we went and passed, and we were unable to do anything. This was back when Drachma was in the party. Well, now we are actually in the actual Maw of Tartas, which is a underground series of caverns that Enrique told us about a couple of episodes ago, so we're going to explore. This is the second, and if I remember correctly, final ship exploration dungeon. Kind of like how the Dark Rift worked. I love the music. It's the same music we had for our first dungeon, too. And we're going to go explore. Maw of Tartas has plenty of enemies for you to fight. They're Fairly obnoxious, honestly, so that's why I have the white map on, because I really don't feel like dealing with them. The Maw of Tartas is also a tiny bit of a maze. It's not terribly bad, but you can get turned around pretty easily in here, mostly because there's not really a lot of landmarks in the game. It's just kind of there. As you can see, the enemies in the Maw of Tartas are no slouches. Something I've kind of forgotten to do, actually, especially since we've gotten so many of them, is I've forgotten to use our latest chams and the Abric chams that we've gotten. Which, let's go ahead and use those real quick. Cupel, unfortunately, is about as good as he's going to get for a while, I think. So, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do too much with him. But just use all this stuff on Vice, because I do want him to be as good as he possibly can be. Great. Okay. So we're going to take the rightmost path here. It is a bit of a maze in here. There's not a lot of landmarks for you to use, so if you're not going the right way, it's really easy to just get yourself back to the beginning without thinking about it. The other thing in this dungeon is there are chests, just like there were in the Dark Rift. But just like they were in the Dark Rift, they do not look like normal chests do, and they're even easier to miss in here than they were in the Dark Rift. The Dark Rift, you're looking at, you know, these glowing ships are just kind of sitting there, so they kind of look like something you can interact with. Unfortunately, the Maw of Tartas, these things do not look like you can interact with them. So, for instance, the first time I played through the game, I completely missed there were indeed chests in this dungeon. Unfortunately, they're not very good chests either. So the chest in question is this glowing obelisk over here, this glowing crystal, whatever the hell this is. God, those big flowers are irritating. Okay, so obelisk. Run right up to it, use it, the external, aura of it goes away, and then you know that it's used. And then we want to leave. It's the only reason we came down this particular pathway. So, kind of obnoxious. Make sure to keep an eye out for those. There's only 2 of them in this entire dungeon. We already got one of them. This actual dungeon is not that bad. It's certainly nothing like the Dark Rift. It's not as confusing. It's not as big. It's actually a very short one. The downside is you move, kind of as usual, pretty slow through the dungeons, so you have a lot of time to combat enemies, and look at the textures on the walls, which are, combat enemies. That's about all we have to do. And actually, something I've never really shown off, so let me show this off now. At any time when you're in the ship, you can press start and go to the bridge, or go save, which you've seen me do quite often. But what's interesting is that if you're in the bridge, you can actually explore, and all of your crew members are here, and typically they will all have something to say. For example, if we talk to Don, who's currently the helmsman, he says it's impossible to see down here, impossible where we're going, and do I want to take the wheel? Well, that's not what I want to do right now. We're going to actually go and explore. But if we talk to, say, Domingo, he says that that even the Vluans themselves not see the inside of the Maw of Tartas. It makes even the walls of the ship, or walls of this place look valuable for some reason. I think the only ones we're going to see in here are currently the active crew members. Many adventurers have tried to travel through Valua by going through the cracks and fissures beneath it, but their ships couldn't fly low enough to reach the entrance. So we get a lot of just random information from various people. Enrique thought he would never actually be flying inside the lands of Valua, but he'd never have seen sights such as this. Had he remained cooped up in the palace, he's still on that. So, something cool. Once again, I do recommend picking up this game, so that way you can go and see all the things I'm skipping entirely. Almost every location has special comments from the crew, as soon as you at least... Well, actually, no, you can do it in Little Jack, too. though there's not as much crew as there is Aiken, Fina, and Drachma. So, lots of cool stuff there. Lots of great stuff said by various NPCs throughout the game that, once again, I've completely ignored. It's good stuff. It is very good stuff. I still love this music that's just very soft, kind of build-up music, I guess, is how I think of it. That this music just kind of sits there and just... We take a lot of damage in those fights. It's those flowers, I swear. They're actually kind of scary. They have a lot of damage. They do AoE damage, which is by itself kind of frightening. And they also have sleep moves. Kind of obnoxious. The shrimp, on the other hand, are pretty easy to fight. So we'll continue moving on through. Got ourselves another big room here, and on this one we're going to go left. I kind of like, I don't know if this was done intentionally, but it feels like there's a fog effect in the air. It kind of makes it, you know, the rooms feel a little bit bigger than they already are. It's very cool that way. And it should be no surprise to anybody who has followed the channel for any considerable length in time that I love video games and music. Let's try that again. I love music and video games. And Skies always has good music for me. I don't know why. Congratulations to us, we found another Moonberry. It's kind of a shame that Moonberries have all but completely grown useless by this point in the game. We have had enough to completely power up all of our main characters, so, you know, Aga... Well, actually, you know what? I haven't powered up Aga. That's right, let's go fix that. Aga's the only one we have not powered up super move style, and I can probably get both of hers. Not quite, I'm getting close. Epsilon Mirror, I believe I commented on this in a previous episode, but we have never used it, and I probably never will. Epsilon Mirror is a very interesting ability. As I was saying, Epsilon Mirror is a very interesting ability. It's basically the same thing as the turtle boss used in... come on, give me my treasure chest. Give me my treasure chest. Give it to me. Give me my item. Thank you. There's my Moonberry, which I will still probably not need. Can I use it? No, I can't even use it. So, the idea behind Epsilon Mirror is that for one turn, Aka's completely invincible. Nothing can hurt her, which is interesting. It also gives her 10 MP back, which is the other interesting thing. So if this was a game where magic was actually useful in battle at all, it'd be a fantastic ability. But it gives you back 10 MP, it makes you immune for that turn. Thing about it is, one, it stops Aka from using Delta Shield, which in and of itself is already a problem, because you want Delta Shield for just about every fight. I mean, there's very, very few fights that you'd ever use Epsilon Mirror that you don't use Delta Shield. Okie dokie, let's get out of here. So yeah, she becomes invincible for one turn, and the problem is that she's not using Delta Shield, and that any invincibility you could be using, there's something else you could have been doing during that turn. There's no real move, for the most part, there's a couple, but there's no real damaging move in the game that you ever get one turn wind up on. There's no time when you're going to know it's coming. The few exceptions I can think of off the top of my head are the first boss in the game, by which there's no way you'd have that ability in the first place. You know, I'm talking about the robot that does the, like, blaster move. The guy in, Loose Cannon Lappin has a charge move that he does, which he does charge up for. But that's about it. Those are the only two I can think of off the top of my head. So you know, you can use it to be invincible for those turns, but that's about it. And you'd still probably rather have her doing something else. Okay, so we're already at the end of the dungeon. It was just that fast. This is not meant to be a very long dungeon. This dungeon is here mostly as a precursor to what comes next. Now, as usual, if you do have a save point just sitting in the middle of somewhere, you're either in a town, you're at the beginning of the dungeon, or you're at the end of a dungeon. And guess where we are? That's right, I just said it. We're at the end of a dungeon. In this case, we get this very cool room, and you can see carvings on the walls that indicate that this is someplace a little bit more special than your standard cave. They're also yellow, which is generally an indication that, and made of the same material, that indicates this is not a normal place. In fact, it's the same material that most of the Gigas are made out of. So that should mean that I'm in just one place right now. That's right. I'm in the home of the Yellow Gigas. Hi. We're about to royally piss it off, which is exactly what we want, right? Oh, it's waking. That is the Yellowgar, the Yellow Gigas. And it might be awake. Sylvite managed to put him to sleep, and they sealed him in here. Yellowgar is extremely powerful, so it's best that we don't wake him. The crystal is in its possession. We have to find a way to remove it without waking him. Why would you, as the freaking wizards who are putting it to sleep, why would you give it the crystal? Why? What was it, like a sleeping dog? It had the crystal, you put it to sleep, but you didn't want to wake it up again, so you didn't take it back? What? Come on. Don't give me that. But it's awake, and if we stay here, we won't be able to dodge lightning. We have to get away from him, full reversing the engines, but that's not really going to work, because lightning attacks rather quickly, right? Here's the other thing. This thing is not exactly not powerful. In fact, there's no point for that seal to be there in the first place, because this thing just knocks it aside as it wakes up. I know when I wake up for the first time, when I am just waking up in the morning, I have trouble getting out of bed, much less knocking out a seal that thick. So this thing is kind of scary. I don't know how he flies straight up, because that's not an ability I have, but, you know, there you go. And now it's time to fight. You may break the seal look easy. This isn't a good sign. See, they comment on it, too. Looks like we're going to have to fight him to get the crystal. Battle stations. Let's take that thing down. Now, Yellowgar has one defense that we've seen before. We saw it on Alania, I believe, the bug boss. He's, ancient records say, its thunder tore open the skies himself, and its roar shook the ground. Doesn't sound like a very friendly Gigas. We should be extra careful. So, the thing about Yellowgar is that it's flat. And the problem with Yellowgar being flat is that it kind of makes it hard to shoot at sometimes, especially in certain situations, especially when the game starts asking you questions about how you want to proceed. I'm going to have to remember exactly how you're supposed to do this. He's not an incredibly difficult boss, but he does have an incredible amount of health, and he does a lot of damage all at once, which normally would make it sound like it's a hard boss, but we all know how the ship-to-ship battles go. It's just a matter of us getting in and healing up when we're damaged and shooting again. I don't expect to die in this fight, even though the game makes it seem like this guy should be Chuck Norris or something. So we're going to do our normal thing. We're just going to focus up, and then we're going to have Marco double our SP, which should happen on the next turn, I believe. I wasn't really paying attention to how many focuses we've done so far. But we should do a focus up, get double EXP. Here's one of his attacks, Photon Charge. So he is going to shoot lightning at us, homing missile style. Not really worried about it. 3,000 damage. 3,000. 3,000 damage is how much the rock did when it screamed at us. That's nothing. There's this definite disconnect with how much damage the game says we're going to take and how much damage we actually take in any of these fights. So he's going to assess damage. We're just going to continue floating around. And he should actually begin doing something scary soon. Yep, there's the flip. Okay, so something's going to happen. So I'm not really going to do too much on these turns for the time being. I really want to keep my SP as high as possible. So what I'll probably do is launch a couple attacks and then just focus, and we're going to keep our SP up. I'm going to drop Incremus for a couple of reasons. One, because I do intend to attack every once in a while. Incremus lasts 4 turns. So I would like to have Increments up for as long as possible, just for the sake of having it up. And then I'm also going to drop attacks, mostly just to start whittling its health down, because if you don't, this battle can take a while. A single Moonstone Cannon is probably not going to kill it. So we got to be kind of careful about how we're going to do this. 2,000 damage dropped on our face is not exactly nice. And we will focus up. Mostly get as much SP as possible. Unfortunately, there's no Prophecy-style attack when it comes to the ship. You can't focus to up to full SP and then do something stupid. Moonstone Cannon is about all you have. But the problem is, as we get into the end game with the weapons, and I think we have the final weapons on our ship at this point, Ancient Cannon's lost. I wish I had known about that before I started using it. That's one thing I do wish they fixed in the game. But as we get into something like Ancient Cannon, you can see exactly how high the SP requirement is. Here's Voltigar, which is bigger attack. Yeah, Ancient Cannon costs a lot of SP. All the weapons cost a lot of SP at this point. So I don't really want to be sitting around at any given point where I don't have any SP, but really, really wish I did. So we're actually going to shoot at it this time. And we did a fair amount of damage. I can live with 13,000 damage. Notice how little health he lost, though. That was less than 5%, I think, or somewhere around 5%. This guy's got a lot of health. So we're going to have to do that a couple more times. Looks kind of flat. Maybe we should try attacking from above or from below. I'm going to attack from above. The reason why I say that is if you... Nope, was the wrong answer. If you attack from below, it has the legs there where all the attacks come from, and I'd rather not do that. So we're just gonna... We're gonna drop another couple Ancient Cannons. We're gonna drop... that. We're gonna do this. And focus. Next turn is when we're going to be doing a lot of the damage. You saw the Moonstone Cannon there, but you also saw that there was a red attack there. This thing is going to do a lot of damage to me all in one go on that turn, and I'd kind of like to beat it there. So, hopefully, things won't be too bad. More photon charges, don't worry me. We're going to be fine. Hopefully. Otherwise, bad things will happen. And now it's starting to move. Notice it kind of doing that walking animation. This is an indication that it's moving, which apparently is a bad thing. So we're gonna wait. This is we want to hurt this thing. We want to hurt this thing a lot. Come on, you. Okay, so here comes the Voltigar. We're going to take a little more damage. Eh, 2,000 damage. I'm not worried about it. He's doing just... There's just no damage. Like, he does no damage to you. It's nuts. Keep in mind, we have not had a red turn yet, though. And we wow. I lost. Okay, that's fine. You'd think that whoever's on... Dawn, you're the helmsman. Why do you keep on not giving me the shot? I don't get it. Not a single weak point. More importantly, is it just me, or is this thing look a little bit more active? Is the seal weakening on it or something? Perhaps, but whatever the reason appears to be building up for some sort of attack, we should probably not let it happen. I wish there's some way we could knock it off balance. I've done with all the other Gigas, but it's just too big. Anything short of the Moonstone Cannon, oh, would you look at that? Probably won't make that thing budge. Well, guess what? We have a Moonstone Cannon we're allowed to use this turn, and I fully intend to use it. So we want to drop as much damage as we, there's no way we can use that. Okay. I need you to focus. Can I? No. We want to land as much damage as we can on Yellow Gigas, on that red. Oh, nice. That was a nice amount of damage. We want to land as much damage on Yellow Gigas during that turn as we possibly can, because we do want to knock him off damage. If we're able to pull this off, he's not going to get a chance to do a super powerful attack on us. If we don't, we're going to be taking a lot of damage. So we're going to try to avoid doing that. We're actually doing a fair amount of damage to this thing. We're nickel and diming it is the real thing. It's not as if we're dropping, you know, Bender amounts of damage onto it. But we're doing pretty good here. Photon charge will continue to do nothing. I still don't see this thing being a threat. I see it just kind of sitting there and attacking me. Okay. Do you think that fin on the front of the Delphinus is meant to be like a sight for when you fire the Moonstone Cannon? Because if you remember, the Draco had iron sights on its gigantic gun. Okay. Moonstone Cannon's going to fire. You actually saw the torpedo dash across the sky, which was really cool. I love that effect. I love that effect so much. Okay. So we spit Yellow in twain, deal 58,000 damage, and hopefully I knocked it off balance. Hopefully. If I didn't, we have a problem. And target lost. So that looks like we did knock it off. So let's, Yep, that did it. It's off balance. Leave it to the Moonstone Cannon, and now we get a chance to open fire with everything we got, and because I was intelligent about what I did, now we have another shot at the Moonstone Cannon, which is exactly what you want. I mean, you want another shot at the Moonstone Cannon. And, you're going to focus, and I guess you'll do a torpedo. So now we get a shot at a second Moonstone Cannon, and this may actually kill Yellow outright. I'm not entirely sure, though. I'm not sure if this will kill it. It's hard to say. I didn't see what its HP was at. Ah, we're so close. Okay, it will die this turn or the next turn. It's going down. Unfortunately, this brings up another issue where the game really focuses on the Moonstone Cannon. It's kind of the only weapon you really ever use. Yeah, I've been using the Ancient Cannons, and the Wevel Cannon there may actually kill Yellow in the next 2 turns. But, the Moonstone Cannon is your major damage dealer. It's all you really ever use. Just like the only attack I really ever use in a regular boss battle is Pirate's Wrath. It's just kind of a shame. It really is. And here we go. And that'll do it. Well, that should have. Wow, it's still up? It's still up. Wow. That's surprising. Okay, well, next turn, maybe? I don't know. Well, no, we're going to have lost it, unfortunately, because of where we are. Nope, never mind, we hit. Okay. That's really surprising. They didn't even show the animation of us attacking it, though. And it gets one last Feudal Roar out as it sinks. I'm not sure if we so much beat it as we just told it to go back to sleep. We did get the Thunder Cutlass, though, so we have another strong weapon. I don't know if it's as strong as the weapon we have now, though. Ah, there it goes. I don't think we've had a Gigas that exploded before, and that looks like almost a nuclear bomb. That wasn't easy. Yes, it was. That was tremendously easy. That was easier than most things we've done in this game. That thing, yeah, we just beat it. That was really all there was to it. That's smoking, and that's, God, you're standing on molten rock. You shouldn't be doing that. It's amazing we were able to get it before the Armada, but since we got the Yellow Crystal, we should head back to Crescent Isle, and that's absolutely right. This is the 5th Moon Crystal that we've collected, and now Fina's quest is finished. It's a very bittersweet moment, because it means Fina has to leave. Not a good time. Well, for us at least. We received the Yellow Moon Crystal. Excellent. Okay, guys, well, unless a cutscene starts up in a second. Nope. We are done. I will catch you guys later on down the line when we will head back to Crescent Isle and see what's next for our intrepid heroes. Thanks for joining me.